do you think that he would have just continued and probably have maybe created more series, more movies? What were some other interests that he had beyond what people know him for the most?
Well, my dad was, and I know this, he was very much looking forward to the second half of his life. He wanted to write a Broadway play. He wanted to write a novel. I think those are two things that you would have seen had they been successful.
You know, the fact again that you're telling the stories and you're doing it in the way that is so loving and truly is a gift to all of us. Do you talk to your dad? Do you take time and say, "Hey, Dad, you know, you did good"? And do you have those moments where you're sharing your time with your dad, even now?
I don't think that there's a day that my dad doesn't float across my mind. Sometimes it's like, help.
Yeah. Yep. He would love knowing that, and I know he knows that. And any of us who've ever lost anybody dear in our lives who really, you know, and I guess even though he wasn't here as long as any of us would have hoped, especially you and your family, do you find comfort in, like, for example, one of my friends, his mother was a very famous singer from the 60s and a very famous group and very famous singer. And she passed away 3 years ago. And I asked him, I said, are you're sad, of course, you lost your mother because she's your mother to you, but her music is everywhere. Her music's even being used in commercials today. There's movies, there's all these things. There's references to your mother, all the show, Ed Sullivan's show she was on, all these things. Does that comfort you? At first, for him, he couldn't watch any of it. He couldn't watch the news coverage announcing her passing. He couldn't go back on, you know, YouTube or anything else and look at the videos of her in the group singing and the interviews and all these things. He couldn't go running to that. I tend to do that. When a loved one passes, I pull out the photos. We go through everything. I'll make a tribute video. I'll do the eulogies. I have to keep them here with us and for as long as I can in that certain way. He was the opposite. He couldn't look at any of it. Now he's starting to slowly look at it and he appreciates all of it, but the pain was so strong that it was hard for him to dive in deep. How about for you? I would imagine if you flip through the dial and there's Dad on the Twilight Zone or any other references to your father in society around you, is it like a warm blanket for you? Does it comfort you?
Well, I just feel so fortunate that, you know, I can find him in all these places. I can find him on television still. I can find him in other people's stories about what he meant to them or how they touched their lives. You know, there was a period where I would look through photograph albums and then the fact that the pictures would stop, that was agonizing, needless to say. But the episode that I was talking about in Praise of Pip, to find the routine that he and I did, that he put in this Twilight Zone, I thought, how special is that? How lucky am I to have this? You know, not everybody does. And you know, as I was saying before, people that would tell me they had terrible childhoods, but they would find my father and think of him as their dad, and or that the Twilight Zone was something that they did as a family that would pull them together for those 30 minutes. There was a guy who was a conscientious protester. I think that's the phrase. What is it?
Like an activist?
objector, and he was going to be drafted into Vietnam, and he hid out in a church basement, and he said that my father saved his life, thinking about words that my dad would say, that you're going to be okay. I have not told that story nearly as beautifully as he did, but it's very touching. Conscientious objector is what I would
Conscientious objector. Yeah. How beautiful that story is. And to know that, huh? The
Yeah,
impact that he had on that person's life
absolutely.
and the decisions he's made probably going forward in his life as a result of
Yeah,
that is,
and a beautiful writer in his own right too.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure there are countless stories. I mean, I've even pointed people to an episode or two and they're struggling with something at their work or whatever. I say, go watch this episode of Twilight Zone and see how that was handled. See how, to deal with your boss or to deal with the person that doesn't like any noise in society or doesn't want to be around all the machines, these things or falls in love with the computer Agnes, whatever it is, watch an episode or two and you'll understand it. It'll break down easier for you to swallow.